Hello, everyone. We are here on the Kim Jacobs Show, and we have a great show lined up for you. Say hey, Talisha.
Hey.
All right, everybody, listen, get your virtual seats because this show is going to be off the chain. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of the Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show.
You're watching Kim Jacobs Show.
Kim Jacobs Show. We want to make sure that you are in your virtual seats and ready to go. Listen, we have Talisha Jennings with us today. How are you, Talisha?
I am well. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much for being here today. We all know about prenatal. Everybody knows about prenatal care, right? And how important it is to have your vitamins, have those supplements, make sure you go to your appointments, hear the heartbeat of your child, different things that we have to do that's just that prenatal care, checking for blood glucose levels, and if you have gestational diabetes, you name it, we know about prenatal care, making sure our hair and nails, and don't put things across the blood-brain barrier. If you in the virtual studio audience know about prenatal, what to expect before you actually deliver your child, put I know about that in the comment section. Put yes, I know about that in the comment section. But a lot of times people don't know about what we're going to talk about today, which is perinatal.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how many people have heard that word, perinatal.
Right.
Put it in the comments if you actually are familiar with it and you had already heard about it, or if this is new to you, say, hey, this is going to be enlightening. This is new to me. You don't have to type the whole word enlightening. That might be a bit much. But Talisha, tell everybody in a nutshell before I formally introduce you and take a commercial break, what we're going to be talking about today in just like 30 seconds or less.
Yeah, 30 seconds or less. So we're going to be talking about everything that comes along with childbearing, the mental health aspect of it, and what comes from that. So how it affects the family unit as well as the person who is carrying the child and all of the stuff in between.
Everything in between. All right. And if you're interested in coming into the broadcast, we have some people that want to ask a question or want to pop on screen sometimes. Feel free to click the link that I put in the comment section, copy and paste that into your browser, and it'll bring you right backstage into our discussion today. We'll pop you up. Be prepared to ask your question so that Talisha can answer it quickly, and then we'll pop you out of the broadcast. Okay. We're glad to have you all tuning in today. I see several people that's up here, and definitely go ahead and put yourself in there. Say, hey, I'm here, I'm watching, I'm tuning in, and we'll pop your comments and your questions and your shout outs to the studio audience here. All right, so when we come back right after this commercial break, I'm going to formally introduce this beautiful soul that's here today, Talisha Jennings. We'll be right back after this commercial.
I'm attorney Charles Everidge. I started out representing insurance companies until my father was seriously injured at work. 4 of his fingers were amputated. Our family went through a lot, so I know what you're going through as an injured worker. If you've been hurt on the job, call me now. I'll fight to get the workers' comp benefits you may deserve. I'll fight for you like family. Put my experience to work for you. Call 704-457-5000, the first call for injured workers.
And we're back here on the Kim Jacobs Show on this wonderful episode that's going to be extremely enlightening today, in my opinion. Talisha Jennings is here to talk about her journey with dealing with perinatal mental health crisis and how she survived it. So I want to introduce her to you. Her name is Tyleisha Jennings, LMSW, LCSWA. She's provisionally licensed clinical social worker in the state of North Carolina and a licensed master social worker in the state of South Carolina. She graduated from Winthrop University in 2010 with a bachelor's in social work and minoring in African American studies. What a great combination there.
Thank
African
you.
American studies, social work, and now obviously dealing with the perinatal care as well. And again, in 2017 with a master's in social work. And she's a wife and mom of two littles. And I'll let her talk more about her family. But professionally, she's served as a perinatal mental health trained therapist in her own private practice. I am super excited to have this woman who is Trending Joy Counseling and Therapy PLLC owner and therapeutic services related to trauma, anxiety, and perinatal mood and anxiety disorders. She's an expert. We put her here as a survivor, but she's also an expert in this field. So welcome today,
Thank
none other than
you.
Tyleisha Jennings to the Kim Jacobs Show.
Thank you
Glad
so
to have you,
much.
Tyleisha.
I'm so glad to be here.
Not as glad as I am to have you. So we're going to jump right into our discussion today and just take us back on your own personal journey as to when you know what, before we do that, what is perinatal? What is
Yeah.
perinatal mental health? Because not everybody knows what that is. So let's
Right.
just break that down first.
Yeah, so perinatal mental health is the mental health diagnoses or the mood and anxiety disorders that people can go through anywhere from pregnancy to up to 2 years postpartum. So it can be identified and diagnosed up to that first year, and then the treatment for it can go up until 2 years postpartum. So when you think about it, the symptoms themselves can start showing up once you're pregnant
Okay.
and then can have that impact all the way up to 2 years. Now, if it's something that's longer than 2 years after that, of course, you want to seek out other professional care because that means that it's not just the perinatal period, there's something else that's happening.
Interesting. So it sounds like it's such a fine line because everything that you're saying, when a person may actually experience that, they may also be diagnosed with depression or anxiety or mood disorder, bipolar disorder. So
Mhm.
it sounds like it mirrors some of those traits,
Absolutely.
correct?
Yeah. So the only major difference that I am understanding of is the time frame. So when you think about mood and anxiety disorders, you still have things like depression, anxiety, panic disorder, postpartum OCD, bipolar disorder, psychosis, and all of the things like that. But it's just the time frame. So anywhere between pregnancy and those first 2 years, because what we don't recognize is that your body doesn't start to get back to normal until you're about 2 years postpartum. So that's physical health and mental health because there's a lot of hormone changes and all of the things like that. So yeah, the time frame is what makes it perinatal.
So if a woman or is experiencing this shortly after giving birth,
Mhm.
then that makes it be more of a consideration for a physician to look into it from a perinatal perspective.
Right, right. And so there's the time frame of shortly after birth, but then also the intensity of it as well. Statistics show pretty much that 15 to 20% of birthing parents experience some sort of perinatal mood and anxiety disorder.
Yeah, I
And
was
a lot of
researching
times,
that.
right. So it goes undiagnosed because a lot of times you'll have people who will be like, "Oh, I'm fine. It's just the hormones. It's just the baby blues and stuff like that." But the reality is that if it lasts a certain amount of time and has an implication where it impacts the day-to-day living that you are trying to experience, then it's time to get checked. It's time to get
That's
help.
good. That's really good to know because there are, and again, this is all stereotypical stuff that I'm getting ready to say, but I'm sure in your expertise, you probably can put a stamp of approval on it. There are times when people are being out of sorts and out of body kind of experiences, and people in their own family and close to them are saying, "Now, what in the world wrong with you?
Yeah.
What happened to you when you what did the baby drain all your blood cells out of your brain?" I mean,
Mhm.
that I've heard people say, and it's not, I'm definitely not talking about my family. By no means having my children. I'm not talking about my family. I'm talking about other people' families, right?
Right.
So people, I've heard things be said like, "Girl, you need to get checked. You about to go off the deep end," and
Mhm.
different things that would make a person want to keep that information private.
Right. And there's so much stigma around it because people think that getting checked means automatically you're going to lose your kids. That's not the case.
That's a good myth
Yeah.
because
That
there are people that get checked and they do lose their children.
right, right. But that's not always what's going to happen.
Right.
The reality is that if there's some sort of danger or a safety issue, then yeah, it's more likely. But getting the help that you need provides safety and security for your child. If mom's
Interesting.
not okay, baby's not going to be okay. If family isn't okay, the baby it's all about the unit. So get the help. Like if somebody points it out to you in a joking manner, like take it, okay, well maybe they're right.
Some is off,
I'm wrong.
right?
Like
And it's probably families too that like, and in this case, I am talking about my family. They care about you, and they
yeah.
know that when they see a change in you.
Hmm.
I just recently actually had to go to the emergency room, and my mom is the one that said, "Kim, something is not right in your
Hmm.
eyes," and it wasn't anything to do with perinatal. Clearly, I have 5 kids. My oldest is 25, and my youngest is 14. Well,
Right.
12 forever because one of them lasted. But anyway, the point is, I didn't recognize it myself, but she
Hmm.
saw something in me, and
Hmm.
it made me act
Yeah.
and act upon it by going to get checked just to be on the safe side. And
Right.
I'm glad I did because it was something that needed to be checked. So
Mm-hmm.
when families are saying to you, whoever you are in the studio audience, "Hey, something's a little bit off," not as a joke, but you might want to get that checked because something's not right. So
Right.
you recommend, Talisha, to do what? Get
Yeah. So from my experience, I know that when you have to take your baby to the pediatrician, they give you certain assessments that you have to do. And in those assessments, be honest, because that's how I was able to determine that I had postpartum depression. Um,
Okay.
I didn't
Type that in the
know.
comment section. Anybody,
Yeah.
be honest on your assessment. Be
Yeah.
honest. That's good.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so having that assessment, I was able to recognize like there were certain things that were happening that I've never done in my life before. Like when you get to a point, and this is kind of like typical of just general depression, right? But perinatal depression is impacted by having a child as well.
Right.
You don't want to sleep, or you're having trouble sleeping, difficulty eating, not being able to have a desire even to bathe and do all the hygiene stuff, not wanting to go outside, only want like all of these things that are completely out of your norm. Those are the things that might need to like give you an idea that something has changed in you and help is necessary.
Right. Okay. I love that you're taking the time to kind of break it down that help is necessary if people are not open or optimistic about life overall
Mhm.
and some of the things that you've outlined. So being honest about where you really are mentally in your health assessment,
Yeah,
that's a good starting place to just write it down and say, I think I need some help
right.
and see what they can do from a clinician perspective, correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's good.
Even with the doctors, the pediatrician, luckily, our pediatrician had a connection to therapists and stuff in the area. So once she read my assessment and talked to me about it and saw everything that was happening, I got referrals right then.
Hmm.
Like, so the resources are out there. There are people who are able to help with this stuff, and the training is intensive for this type of work. So it's just the fact of stating it, I need help.
That's good. Okay. Okay. So speaking up sounds paramount in this situation. You're going
Mhm.
to speak up and ask for help. And if you don't feel comfortable saying it to a physician, who should you say it to if you're not comfortable saying it to your doctor?
Yeah, I'm all about social supports, right?
Okay.
So, who do you trust? That's the question. Who do you trust to have your back and recognize that something is wrong or something's not
That's,
right? Or who's that person that points that out to you and holds you accountable for the things that you're doing?
So
That's
you
who.
know that person, whether it's a friend, a family member, a niece, a nephew, somebody that may be an adult that's still younger than you, but you feel
Mhm.
comfortable connecting with them.
Right.
Eh, these are people that you can, your parents, your spiritual advisors, your pastors' wives,
Mhm.
different people that you feel comfortable saying, I don't really want to go to my doctor yet, but I do want to talk to somebody.
Right. Right.
So if
Yeah.
it's not dealt with, what have you found based on all of the research that you've done and being in this therapy role that you're in? What
Mhm.
does it lead to from your perspective?
Well, so my perspective tells me that it leads to a different type of parenting. For me, the experience led to me being somebody that I had never been before, did not want to be, couldn't find myself in this experience. It was just totally different. But once I was able to recognize what was happening and get down to it, I came back to myself, and it changed how I interacted with my husband. It changed how I
Mm,
interacted with my children, my
okay.
other family members, and stuff like that. So it
Well,
it can
take
change
us
you.
back. Take us back on what happened and when did you realize that this was literally a perinatal mental health break or
Mhm.
crisis in your life?
Yeah, so I had gotten back to work. I was probably about a month and a half back. Yeah, back in the office for about a month and a half. And I had an aunt who had a restaurant right around the corner. And so I would leave my job and go to her restaurant because I was hungry. And one day she asked me if I was okay. And
Just out of the blue.
yeah, just out of the blue, just asked me if I was okay. And I broke down. Like I couldn't answer the question, but I just completely fell apart.
Wait, wait. So now you already knew after being back to work for that month and a half that you were not okay, but
Mhm.
you had not expressed it to anyone?
No, I had not.
Interesting. So you went back and just acted just like a regular old work day. You
Yep.
go to work, you come home, you take care of your child, you be the wife, you're doing your daily routines.
Yep.
But underneath you're feeling what?
Pressure. A lot of pressure, a lot of sadness, lack of desire for anything. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to talk to people, didn't want anybody to touch me. It was really difficult to do my job because, as a social worker, I don't know if you're familiar with Mecklenburg County DSS, but it's high contact, high intensity, and you help people all day. And it was very hard for me to do that. I recognized that what had changed in me is I had no tolerance for anybody,
Mhm.
any situation. If it didn't make sense to me, I didn't care to figure it out. And that's not who I was. Like, it completely changed who I was as a person.
Wow. Okay. And this is so I'm really grateful that you're taking the time today to come here on the Kim Jacobs Show and share your personal, transparent story because it's going to help so many people that
Yeah.
probably have or are feeling right now the way you felt and need to hear your story to just get to the other side of their mountain. So
Right.
when you went to your aunt's to this restaurant, she picked up on something that nobody else really had picked up on and you were good
Hmm.
at covering it up at
Yeah.
that time.
Yeah.
And so when she said that, what did it do? What did it do to you?
It felt like a release. The pressure just kind of lifted. And like I said, I just kind of fell apart, started crying, all of that in the middle of a restaurant. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what's happening to me. And those words, I don't know what's happening to me, led me to know that something was wrong. Like I couldn't put it into words. And I'm usually pretty good with my words, but couldn't figure it out, couldn't answer the question.
And you're the person that helps everyone else. Here, hence me, for example. I'm probably a great example right now at this phase in my personal life that,
Hmm.
I've been a lot of different things for a lot of different people.
Right.
But when you experience your own crisis,
Hmm.
it does something to you on the inside. It just does something to you because it's like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what I teach people, what I preach to people, what I tell people, hang on, hold on, you can do it, you can do it, don't get sucked in by your circumstance. All of this stuff
Right.
that I do teach people,
Right.
when it hits home for me with some of my own life circumstances, it's like, now what, Kim? The
Mm.
balance doctor. How you gonna deal with this? Well,
Right.
I'm going to deal with it still by being who God created me to be and still let my light shine. And I don't know if it's flickering, but I know I'm doing everything I can within my power to let it shine. And I know
Yeah.
that's what you wanted to get back to in your own life. So
Yeah.
when we come back after this commercial break, I want to know what you did. What were the steps that you took? Was that aunt involved in this journey? Anybody have questions that want to know these things? When we come back after this commercial break, we're talking with Talisha Jennings, who's kind enough to come on as a social worker, a therapist, very well educated woman, and share her story of perinatal mental health crisis and how she survived it. We'll be right back right after this next commercial break.
I have peace of mind with Silver Shield Security, which has been protecting my family and home, along with servicing the Carolinas for over a decade. Silver Shield Security knows the importance of convenience and safety. Whether you live in an apartment, a home, or run a business, they are here to protect you from unwanted intrusions and fires. Call now at 704-440-4688 or visit the website at www.silvershield-security.com. You can use my promo code #ToneX and get 1/2 off your installation price. Don't forget to ask about the new no money down options. Let Silver Shield Security help to give you peace of mind, just like me and my family, and keep your business safe.
We are back here on this episode of the Kim Jacobs Show. We're talking with the wonderful Talisha Jennings, who's here to share her story of overcoming perinatal mental health crisis, which actually kind of catapulted her to become a therapist. She's already a social worker, graduated from Winthrop University, and is doing a phenomenal job of helping other people on this journey called life. So, Talisha, tell us how it unfolded for you and what did you do to get to the other side?
Yeah. So that after that, I ended up going to a pediatric appointment for my daughter. And when I went to the appointment, which our pediatrician is absolutely amazing, shout out to Dr. Lindsay. She is so great. And she talked to me about it. She was like, hey, so I noticed some stuff on your assessment. You want to talk about it? And I broke down again. And I'm like, this is supposed to be for my daughter. She was like, but you care for your daughter. And I didn't know that there was so much that went into postpartum care and all of the things after that. Because when we were up here in the Charlotte area, it's me and my husband at the time. We had our friends, we had our support system and stuff like that. But it was stuff that I wasn't ready to talk about because I felt like nobody could understand it, right? So, but going through it, she connected me to a couple of therapists who specifically specialized in perinatal mental health. And in connecting to them, what happened, and it was unfortunate, it was heartbreaking, but it pushed me to open my own practice, was that everyone was at capacity.
That happens with different like therapists, and not I mean they're full because a lot of people need their care, especially during the pandemic. So
Right,
people get booked up quick. So
right,
you
right.
opened your own practice as a result of you not being able to get in.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So what I wanted to do, because I was still actively in clinical supervision, and I also had the support of my clinical supervisor who talked to me, and she was like, hey, there's some stuff that you probably need to know. So I did the research. She talked to me about Postpartum Support International, which is the agency that I was trained through. And it just opened up a lot of information for me. I found out that there's the main provider for postpartum support or perinatal support in the Charlotte, North Carolina area is Raising Resilience. And that's who I initially started looking towards for information. They were providing groups and all of these things, but it was like just them. So as a Black woman, I'm looking for a Black woman therapist, and this was the only Black woman therapy group that I could find that was available. So it was completely understandable. And I was like, if I'm going through it, I know that there's so many more people who have to be experiencing stuff like this and don't know how to put a name to it.
That's good.
So it just kind of pushed me. Like initially I had intended on opening my own practice anyway, because people kept speaking that over my life, We ain't gonna talk about that.
Oh, I know how prophesying works.
Right.
Okay, so I am a child of the Most High God.
Yes, yes. So it was spoken over my life for very many years, and it just so happened that the perinatal support came, and I recognized that there was such a need for it, and I didn't know how often I was seeing it and trying to help people through it prior to getting the formal education on it. But it's more common than people recognize.
Way more. Yeah, actually, when I was researching I put a flyer up earlier, and it said like 1 in 5 women experience this type of
Mhm.
break of some sort. And I'm like, what? I didn't even
Yeah.
know it was that prevalent because I hadn't even focused on it that much in my personal life.
Right.
But I think the reason I didn't focus on it that much, Talisha, is because some of those same symptoms that you're talking about are things that we think, at least I can only speak for myself. I can never speak for the general public. I thought some of those things came from the fact that I'm a new mom. This is normal. I'm lacking sleep. I'm tired. I'm trying to get my wits back about me. I'm trying to figure out how to get my body back in sync. My hormones are out of whack. Those are all things I thought was just normal until
Mhm.
now, literally after now all these years, I meet Tyleisha Jennings and I find out what if I was really having a perinatal mental health crisis, but didn't even know it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing about it, is that it starts to feel normal because that's what we're taught. Oh, you'll go through this, you'll go through that, it'll be okay, you'll be fine. And time frame matters. If it's lasting longer than a couple of weeks, or if it's causing you not to be able to do your day-to-day stuff. I can't get up and cook dinner for my family because I just don't have the energy. I
And
don't
that
feel
is
like.
so many people that are watching right now. And if
Right.
anybody can relate to this, whether it's you or somebody that you may know
Mhm.
a family member that you may be the aunt or the uncle, but you're like, dog, I know what I'm seeing, and this is a challenge. Put a
Right.
1 in the comment section just so I know that you're understanding that you do have some people in your life that need this information. Because this is some game-changing information. So what trying to process this now, what are some signs that people when they look for these signs, you've already described quite a few things,
Mhm.
but how do they know that this is me? I have to take a next step, whether I want to or not. I need to get moving in the right direction of help because
Right.
I'm a mess over here.
Yeah. So I think it's important to take your own mental health prior to childbirth into consideration. Are you predisposed to depression? Are you predisposed to anxiety? Do you have a
Okay.
diagnosis of PTSD or bipolar disorder? Because all of these things can be complications that add on to the likelihood of being diagnosed with, one of the PMADs. So, but also intensity. I keep saying that over and over again, but another thing
What is
that
that
I
word that you're saying?
intensity.
Intensity. So
Yes.
the intensity of the matter matters. The
Yep.
intensity.
Time
Okay.
frame and intensity are the two big things that come up when I hear this. Another thing, so I survived postpartum depression and anxiety. So I was prior to being diagnosed with both of those, I have a mental health diagnosis of anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, that I'm
Okay.
a survivor of. So understanding what the anxiety disorder in me looked like prior to childbirth, how I thought I had been doing well, and how
Yeah.
hormones can flip a switch, and then all of a sudden life feels like it's falling apart, right?
Wow. Okay.
So,
So understanding that what that mental health was like prior to you ever even giving birth,
mhm,
then you now understand that this is now magnified times 10 or times 100 or whatever. You
mhm.
can put that into perspective. And anytime, let me grab this. I think I have one here. Give me 1 second. Give me a second. Yeah, this. I need this kind of stuff for reading and stuff. So I'm
Okay.
forever. I have a magnifying glass. But if you put a magnifying glass on anything,
Yes.
you're literally going to see it be more amplified, right?
Mhm,
And so
mhm.
if you already were dealing with anxiety prior to you having giving birth to your child, now it's the magnifying glass and you're much more anxious and it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger,
Right.
then that's what Talisha is saying. It's time to start getting some help outside of yourself.
Right. Right.
I love that. Okay. I love that you're teaching this philosophy.
Mhm.
All right. So I see a lot of ones in the comments section. I see you, Sean. Thank you so much for being in the virtual studio audience. I'm really grateful to see quite a few men in the studio audience today. How can men, while we're popping them up,
Ooh,
how can men help some of the women that are experiencing perinatal mental health? And can men even experience it? I don't
yes.
know.
Yes, they can. And I am so glad. Snap, snap for the men who are in the audience right now,
Yes.
because men can experience perinatal mental health diagnoses. So, postpartum depression and anxiety is something that not only impacts the mom, it impacts the entire family unit. That's any of the PMADs can impact the entire family unit because, one, it is a life changing event. When you have a baby, your life changes. You have to deal with the stressors that come along with it. So, financial stress, lack of connection to your family or support system, being away from your home, thinking about how things will change moving forward, the inconsistency that comes along with having a child, because before you might have been able to plan your entire day out. And then your child comes and everything you want to do gets a monkey wrench thrown in it, right?
Mhm.
Thinking about all of those things and also your own, like I said, your own history with mental health is necessary. Absolutely. Men can be supportive by one, being able to acknowledge their own feelings about what they are experiencing alongside their partner.
Hmm.
The other thing that they can do is owning, claiming, acknowledging, or calling it by name. I won't say claiming because I saw your episode yesterday with the shiftologist, and something that she said really resonates. And I teach this to my clients too. There's a difference between calling it by name and claiming it for yourself.
Right.
It's okay to acknowledge and address, but I survived living with postpartum anxiety. I survived living with postpartum depression. Not I have. That, so that right there is like a big thing to me.
I
But
often say when my children that live with the disease that they live with cystic fibrosis, I
mhm.
tell people they're kicking that in the head. I'll
Yeah,
say they're kicking or they're fighting, they're beating, they're attacking,
yeah,
they're winning, overcoming, they're thriving, they're doing
yeah,
all of those things because
yeah,
they're not victims to whatever they've been
right,
diagnosed with at all. They actually
right.
are ambassadors for cystic fibrosis,
Hmm.
and a lot of parents and children reach out to them for, and even Congress, they've been speaking before Congress.
That's so
So they
awesome.
are, I don't know why God allows different things to happen in different people's lives, but maybe because they knew that they were going to be warriors and
Right.
kick it in the head. Who
Right,
knows?
right. Yeah. So just being able to acknowledge and address it as it comes up. Like there are going to be things that happen when you have these experiences that just don't make sense.
Mhm.
Point blank, period. Why am I crying over a fork that I wanted to use not being in the drawer?
Right.
Like, that type of stuff. And also just taking time to recognize that it's a process and there's no such thing as speeding through this process.
That's
You have
good.
to take it day by day, sometimes minute by minute, second by second. But
I love that you're saying that minute by minute, second by second, because every moment makes a difference. So you may
yeah,
not even be able to figure out how you're going to make it through that day, but
right,
just through that moment.
right, right. And just recognizing too what the ask is. So, what do you need? Do you just need me to be here? Do you just need me to listen? Are you looking for a solution? You want me to wash a dish? How's your laundry looking? Like,
That's
the
good.
the little
So these are
things.
things that friends that we go to college with, and we are in professional organizations, we are
Hmm.
part of churches, ministries, different things. If you're trying to help somebody that you can see with your own eyes that they're
Right,
struggling
right.
and they're having a hard time, then just offer some of these things that Talisha is sharing with us today.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
Offer to
And
help do a run an errand, babysit. Make sure you offer to just clean if they'll allow you to, wash and fold some
right,
clothes, just babysit while they even stay in the house. Sometimes people don't feel comfortable with you necessarily coming to watch their children if they don't know you like at that level. So for me, as the balance doctor, and if you don't have the book, you should at this point, it's Extreme Balance Makeover: How to Have Better Balance, Better Solutions, Better Focus, so that you have a better life. It was my first book
Mhm.
I ever wrote, and it's on kimjacobshow.com, right? So that book, I talk about different tips and strategies on how to balance different aspects of your life. But that's one of the tips, is making sure I used to hire my niece and just have her come sit right in the house while I went to another part of the house and did my own laundry and things that I wanted to do while she
Right.
was there.
Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. So the things that you would consider the little things. And then another thing that I also consider important, allow birth mom to tell her story. Allow
Allow
birthing parent,
what?
allow the birthing parent to tell their story. Because a lot of times, especially like down to the wire, and I don't know if this was your experience or not, but down to the wire, when you get in that room and it's time to push, all of the things that you want in that moment can go out the window at a split second. And having the ability or being comfortable enough to share your birth story, having somebody that's willing to listen to you, having somebody that's going to hold you accountable when things are not going as well as they need to go, to tell you, hey, it's time to get help. Hey, it's time to listen. Hey, I'm here for you. I can be a listening ear. I don't always have to give you a solution to this. Tell me what you need. Having that is absolutely necessary for this process.
This is really good. Now I do see some comments and questions coming in. So I want to have you address some of those. Dennis says, Miss Talisha, how do you find a balance in your own life?
Mm, yeah, prioritizing. I think that balance is a word that I'm trying to shift away from, because I recognize that if something is more important to me, that's where my energy is going to go. So if my priority is my family, then my energy is going to go to my family, and I'm going to adjust my work schedule so that I'm around my family in the way that I want to be around them. But I don't necessarily seek out balance, but I often try to prioritize.
Well, prioritize is critically important. And I
Mhm.
agree with your philosophy. The second book that I'm writing now pertains to where I've actually finished the book. It's been done since last Christmas. I just need to get it out. It's kind of crazy that I haven't, right? Because the world does need this information. But my
Right.
philosophy on balance has evolved so much
Mhm.
since I've gone through so many different things in my own personal journey.
Right.
And one thing that I do feel is that balance is something that you may look like you're out of balance, out of sync. It doesn't
Mhm.
look like what you're dealing with looks like anything that God is approving. But
Right.
God already knows the seasons that we're going to experience. Some are going to be more extreme than others. And I talk about that in this latest book that you will get a copy of eventually here soon when I get off my duff and, and get it out. But it's important to know something may look like what she's dealing with right there cannot be anything that looks
Mhm.
like balance. In fact, it is what is balance from God's perspective, because you're doing it on God's terms
There you
and in
go.
his will of what he wants done for your life. So I'll talk about that in the future. But that's a great question, Dennis. Let's see any other questions. Okay, let's also go back, and I see somebody said, what's the name of it? Are you you might be talking about the I don't know if you're
Your book.
talking about this, but I'm gonna share it with you, okay? Okay, these are the four books, that three of which are Amazon best international selling books, and you can get it right on kimjacobshow.com. And some phenomenal books out there. But this is how I fight my battles from a spiritual perspective. Rise Up,
Mhm.
Women Who Lead, Building Legacy, Women of War, Peace in the Midst of the Storm. And there are collaborating authors in all of those books that share their individual stories. And I have a chapter in each of those books. And then the book Extreme Balance Makeover. You get an e-copy for $3.99. So that's it there. All right. So Dennis, thank you for chiming in so much. Let me see who else is on here that's asking. I see quite a few. Y'all made me put these red glare glasses on. I know y'all say it's glare on them, so let me just put them on quickly.
Thank
Melody
you.
is actually just clapping. Thank you for being here today. Dee and Lee said, Amen. Amen. They're glad to be here as well. And I saw all of the ones. Dee and Lee put ones, Dennis put one, Sean put one, saying that yes, this is some good information. Basically, we didn't know about all of this. Knowledge is power, Dennis says. Dee and Lee said, when you can't find a way, you make a way, as my dad would say. You have any
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Yes, yes. So Thank you, Latavius. Yes, that is correct. Make a way. And I feel like there are so many ways that you can make a way. Make a way doesn't always mean do it by yourself.
That's
And I
right.
think it's so important that you remember that, like, we have this resource at our fingertips called human capital. Human capital are the people that we associate with that have access to the things that we might not necessarily know how to access on our own. Utilizing your human capital. I consider my friends as like the people who are there for me when nobody else is. They know that I have a select few people that I talk to every day,
That's
and
right.
they know exactly what it is that I'm going through. I have people in my corner that have the ability and knowledge to do things that I don't know how to do, and I'm okay with that. And I know I can turn to them if I need to.
I love that. I
If you
love
can
that.
find a
And
way,
and
if
I
you
can
can't find a
tell.
way, make a way. Yeah.
Find a way, make a way. Find a way, make a way. Talisha, you're dropping some serious nuggets here on today's show. I see you watching, Mom. I'm so grateful to have you here and always so supportive. And I love, 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 love my mom. Thank you for being here today. All right, let's see. I see you are welcome, Queen Kim Jacobs. Okay, and I see a heart from Sean. I see you all. Make sure you all know too on the Kim Jacobs show. I just found this out myself, so that's why I'm so happy to share it with you. You can do a stars or something on our Facebook page, the Kim Jacobs Show Facebook page. You can give some stars, and so definitely go over there and do whatever the star system is. I just found out about it last night that we're qualified for stars. So go to the Kim Jacobs Show Facebook page, like it, and definitely send some stars. And you're also welcome as one of our community members. The only way we keep this broadcast alive every single day is by community contributions. So right below is scrolling ways that you can contribute to the Kim Jacobs Show. And your contribution and partnership is greatly appreciated. All right. So Talisha, after this commercial break, let's talk about the fact that some help is available, right?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that for a little bit. But before we take a break, tell us about this picture
That's
right
my
here.
babies. Yeah, that's
Oh,
my
let me
husband
stop. Let me stop
Phil.
asking for the money for a second so y'all can see this face down here. Hold on, everybody. Let's see. Okay. Oh,
Yeah, he's holding our daughter Desiree, and right below me is our son Amari. So that's a couple of years old in this picture because I had just started my locks that day. But
your
yes,
locks look good, girl.
that's
Oh my gosh.
that's my unit. Those are my people. Those are my humans. I love them so much.
Now, how long have you been married?
We have been married for 5 years, but we have been together for like 17.
Get
We met,
right here.
yeah, we met first year of college at Winthrop and got married in 2017.
Okay. So what took so long?
Well, a lot of schooling, a lot of time, education. We both were prioritizing everything else, and we waited until we were ready to get
That's
married.
good. Good. You know what? Why did I think that was going to be the answer? I would never ask anybody that, but I felt very comfortable asking you, Talisha, that because I felt like that was going to be the answer, even though I didn't know that was going to be the
Yeah.
answer. So you all focused on the areas you needed to, and then
Mhm.
you stayed together the
Yeah.
whole time, but you came together formally and then started your family in
Yeah.
2017.
It was a little bit of a gap in there, but it wasn't much of a gap.
Okay, you say 2017? When
Yeah,
did you?
we got married in 2017. Mhm.
Well, congratulations, an absolutely beautiful family. And I'm so grateful that you saw you and your aunt. Oh, what role did your aunt play in this whole healing process for you?
Yeah, so my aunt Deb, she also married us, so that was a thing. But in the healing process, she was just wise counsel. Like I knew I could talk to her about anything because of the relationship that we had. Like Auntie was the person on my dad's side of the family that stayed in constant communication with me when she found me. Like
Yes.
once she knew that I was up here, it was everything. Like she was everything that I needed.
Wow. So a great family member that has great insight and can discern there's more than meets the eye with you, young lady. We're going to get to the
Yes.
bottom line of it. So Aunt Deb,
Yeah.
thank you for letting God use you in helping to save probably a life and a family. So
Yeah.
thank you for being a willing vessel. I'm shout out to Aunt Deb. Okay. All right. So listen, we're going to come right back. We're going to learn that help is available to any of you that are experiencing any type of perinatal mental health crisis. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. You're a great guest, Tylisha.
Thank you.
Yes, come through. I'm going to let you all learn a little bit about eWomen Network. I put two different events in the actual comment section. One of which is called Success Reimagined. That's happening the end of this month, and then we also have a networking business entrepreneur for female business entrepreneurs in the Charlotte and surrounding areas. Make sure you come to one of our upcoming events. I put that in the comment section for you as well. So let's learn more about eWomen Network now. Hi, I'm Kim Jacobs, the Managing Director of the Charlotte, North Carolina chapter of eWomen Network. I am so excited that you stopped to watch this video. I've got good news for you. You've just discovered an international network of women entrepreneurs who are committed to helping you achieve, succeed, and prosper. We're on a mission here to help 1 million women entrepreneurs each achieve $1 million in annual revenue. Here at eWomen Network, we have a complete success system that supports you every step of the way in building and growing your business. You being here right now is no accident. We're supposed to know about you. We want to meet you to find out how we can help you as well as learn about what you have to offer. With over 500,000 women connected through 118 chapters across the United States, Canada, Australia, and the United Kingdom, you are never alone. If this is resonating with you, please go to ewomennetwork.com/Charlotte. Notice too my contact information. I invite you to reach out to me and to check out our upcoming in-person and online events. I'm really looking forward to introducing you to our special community. Everyone, we've been talking with Tylisha Jennings, and you can drink your girl, get your beverage. It's okay.
Got my throat dry.
Ain't no need to let that throat be dry in the middle of the broadcast, right? Listen, we are talking about perinatal mental health, and Tylisha has been kind enough to share her personal journey. So if for some reason you're just joining, make sure you go back and watch the beginning of this broadcast. She shared in great detail the crisis she's experienced, which also catapulted her to become a therapist for perinatal mental health, in addition to her social work profession. So talk to us about the help that's available for people that are experiencing perinatal mental health issues.
Yeah, so support-wise, there are multiple support groups and organizations, especially in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg area, that provide services for these types of needs. I volunteer with an organization called Postpartum Support International. And
Postpartum Support International?
Yes. So their
It's
website
POSTPARD.
PARTUM. Yeah. Postpartum. Yeah. Support.
What is it called again?
Support International.
Support. Okay, I typed it.
Yeah.
International. Okay.
Their short form is PSI.
Okay.
So, and their website is postpartum.net, but they have an amazing amount of resources, support groups. They actually have a directory that is filled with providers who are PSI trained for postpartum support. And that could be, I remember in my training group, there were chiropractors, there were dietitians, there were doulas, there were dentists. So you would be surprised, like the postpartum period impacts so many people in so many different ways. And there's so many people out there who are educated in this type of information and know what to look for.
Well, here, I'm going to actually share a screen because I'm big on a visual. And so the Postpartum Support International group that is being advocated by Tylisha here, I want to make sure I pop it up here for you for a moment and give you a chance to actually maybe screenshot it or something. I'm going to take us off the screen for a minute and let you screenshot this information. Let's see. It's a phone number here, 1-800-944-4773. And it says, get the help that you need. Call the PSI helpline So people can call anonymously, or do they have to give their information?
Not unless they need to. So there are a few different helplines and hotlines that you can call through postpartum support. They have the helpline, which offers resources and information about access to resources. They also have the hotline for mental health crises. So if there's anything that comes up where you're recognizing that the symptoms that you're feeling are just way too much to handle, you're concerned about your safety or the well-being of you and your family unit, utilize the resources. They have the online directory, Mind the Gap, Climb Out. All of those are fundraisers and information to provide to get access to services that are in your area, because they
This
are
is
international.
this is important too. 1 in 7 moms and 1 in 10 dads suffer from postpartum depression. So
Yes.
they have direct peer support groups here on this site. I'll put the information, we already put it in the comment section. And
Hmm.
what I'll do is also, I want to take a moment to share your website too.
Okay.
So this is great, the Postpartum Support International, but I also want you to talk through how people can connect with you on Trending Joy. And I am in love with this information that I'm seeing here as well. So let me pop that on the screen. Talk to us about Trending Joy.
Yeah, so Trending Joy Counseling and Therapy PLLC is my business. I am located in North Carolina. It is a virtual practice, so I can see anybody throughout the entire state. If you are outside of North Carolina, unfortunately, I am not offering services at this time, but hopefully in the next year or so, no, I'm gonna correct that. In the next 5 or 6 months, I will be opening up in South Carolina, and then after that, expanding to Georgia as well.
And you
But
can, let's also clarify that you can connect them with resources
yes.
internationally, wherever they may be.
Yes, so that is absolutely true. I try to keep a directory as well, but the postpartum support PSI directory has access to all of that information. And if I am not a good fit for your needs, because I genuinely believe that I am not everybody's therapist, and that's okay.
Right.
So if I am not a good fit for your needs, I will make referrals to people who may be able to assist you better.
Yeah, even as the balance doctor, I do not know everything. So here, hence, perinatal specialist is on today because I had no clue about this at this level. But it's okay not to know. You get the help that's needed for the person. All right. So here on the website, guys, it says, "I feel so lost. Did I really just let that happen? I cannot believe I let that slip. I don't deserve this. I just don't know how. Dot dot dot." So on their website, she's saying, "Listen, we've been there too, and we know how hard it is to move when you feel stuck, but you don't have to." So
Mhm.
on here, so many different resources, understanding your why, what you want to learn more about, how to go into the portal. It's a
Mhm.
lot of different things that you can do to stay connected with the
Yeah.
services and resources and blogs and so forth here
Yeah.
on Trending Joy Counseling and Therapy. Wow. Okay. Okay. Tylisha. So
Yeah.
any other resources you want to share?
Yeah, so with PSI, there's also they offer support groups. So just like we talk about the dads being able to offer assistance, I believe it's every first Friday they do a lunch group. It might be at a different time, but every first Friday they have a support group for dads. I facilitate Black Moms Connect every first Tuesday, but they do it every week, Tuesdays at 7:30. They have an entire list of their support groups on that website as well. And they do all of the support groups that offer services for what
That's
we might
good.
consider high stress parenting.
This is some good information, you all. So that's at postpartum.net. Make sure
Yes.
you stay connected with all of the free resources that are available to you. And
Hmm.
then also, how do they stay connected with you directly? I see hearts. Let me make sure I recognize you, Melody. I see you. I
Yes.
see D and Lee. I see all of your comments. Somebody said it's great information. I see B1, hashtag B1. I think you're advertising some things for yourself. That's a good thing. B1 Dennis out there. What's okay? I saw some other comments saying this is just very informative information. I
Yes.
saw hands and claps and all kinds of comments are coming in, but I don't have the person backstage with me right now, so I can't manage all of the comments at the same time and interview. Oh, here. Janet said, "Great information and insight. Proud brother" is what I am.
Thank you, brother.
That's your brother?
Yeah, that's my
Oh,
brother.
I thought that was some, oh, Jared is.
Yeah.
Then I called the man Jan. I don't have my glasses. Jared, please forgive me, okay? Because I need glasses for reading. Okay, so Jared Wallace says,
Yes.
great information and insight. Proud brother. All right.
Thank you. Yeah, there's so many resources out there. Another organization, and this is local for anybody who is in North Carolina, Charlotte Mecklenburg area, is Mind Body Baby NC.
Mind.
Yep, Mind Body Baby NC.
Anything?
I think it's .com. But if you do a Google search, it should be like the first one that pops up.
Let me search it. Okay, I'll search it. Mind, body, baby, and see.
And they offer support through local activities. They do yoga events. They have weekly. I mean, there's always something going on, and it's such a great resource. I've done a few of their networking events.
Okay, .org.
Yeah, there you go. .org. I apologize.
Oh no, the fact that you're sharing all of these wonderful resources is just
Yeah.
amazing.
I'm trying to make sure I got it all. But yeah, Mind Body Baby is a very good resource for anybody who is local to the Charlotte Mecklenburg area or the entire state of North Carolina. PSI Support International is anybody for anybody who is all over the world. I've facilitated groups where I've had people as far as Canada in these groups. So it's been really, really awesome. And then the other group, a subcommittee I'm a part of with PSI is the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance for People of Color, because there are a lot more people who look like me who are getting into this and recognizing the importance of this. We have already in our community have a slight, and I'm minimizing here, but a slight mistrust in medical professionals because of our history with this, right? And it's good to know that you have people who look like you, who have experienced the things that you have experienced and will help you and are not out here to harm you. And what I appreciate about the organization, the PMH POC, is that there's a lot of us. There's so many of us, and we are all just trying to do the right thing by the people that need our services. So shout out to them as well, because I honestly, I wouldn't have even thought to get into this had it not been for patients. So she has been really, really awesome providing guidance and education on this. And the resources are out there. You just have to find them. You just have to ask. You would be very surprised to know how close these resources are to you.
Tell us about this Perinatal
Yeah.
Mental Health Alliance for People of Color.
Yes, so the Perinatal Mental Health Alliance for People of Color is a subcommittee of PSI, so Postpartum Support International. And this is where the providers of color meet to network, to provide assistance, their supervision opportunities. They get connected and just hold each other accountable for whatever it is that we are supposed to be doing in the profession so that we don't cause any harm to our clients. And I think that that is like, do no harm and be the change that you want to see. Those are my mottos. That is how I operate. And so I will support any organization that is supportive of that mantra.
I love that you're supporting lots of organizations. Being my guest today, I want to make sure that people know that you, let me support you for a moment and let people know that you, as kind as you are endorsing everyone, you're accepting new clients as well. So
Yes.
talk to us about that, please.
Yeah, so I am actively accepting new clients. Although perinatal mental health is my main opportunity, is my main option, I am a trauma-informed therapist. So a lot of my clients come for trauma, not just related to birth, but trauma in life. And I think that that's so important because we don't recognize how trauma shows up until it shows up and gut punches us. And when it gut punches us, there's a way to get out of it. We don't have to get stuck in those feelings. And a lot of times we get stuck there because we don't know how to name it in the first place. Wow. So I'm really big on working with my clients just to help them get out of the rut, not feel stuck in the things that they're going through, and to recognize that there's a light on the other side. Like, you don't have
I'm
to
really
stay.
glad that you pointed out about the trauma piece because people that are watching this show, not everyone's dealing with perinatal. Obviously, we know people that are dealing with perinatal, but trauma is a whole different story I can guarantee you that all 100% of us have dealt with some type of trauma in our lives, whether
Yes.
you be male or female. And I encourage you strongly to definitely check and connect with Tylisha. You can stay connected with Tylisha by going to Ty, and this is for the audio podcast listeners,
Mhm.
is Ty, TYLESHIA at Trending Joy, P as in Paul, LLC.com. Tylisha at Trending Joy, PLLC.com. The reason I'm doing that is because we also are on iHeartRadio
Oh,
and
wow.
Spotify, iTunes, all of those audio downloadable platforms, Spreaker, you name it, you can
Yeah.
download the broadcast there as well. And give them your phone number and your website, please.
Yeah, so if you would like to schedule a consultation, you can reach me at 980-288-9227, or you can go on the website trendingjoypllc.com.
Excellent. So there's no excuse. If you're dealing with trauma, you're dealing with perinatal crisis of some sort, then you have a resource who's been kind enough to share other free resources with you and ways that you can start utilizing her private practice services. Talisha Jennings, you have been just absolutely a joy. I did see one other image I want to pop up to make sure you get a chance to speak about this. What is this pertaining to?
Yes, so this is the support group that I facilitate every first Tuesday. Like I said, it's every Tuesday. They've changed the schedule a little bit, but it's every Tuesday at 7:30. You can go to the PSI website to register or go to heypeers.com and search Black Moms Connect in order to get signed up for the groups.
Make sure you all take advantage of these free resources that we're sharing here on the Kim Jacobs Show. What's a closing point that you may want to make so that
Hmm.
people can benefit? One more nugget from Tylisha Jennings.
Yeah. So,
Wait, before you make your closing point, tell
okay.
us something that's a fun fact, something that you do or a hobby or something that we just wouldn't know after everything that we've heard today. Anything?
Um, I used to sing a little bit.
What? Now you know you're going to have to sing us out.
Oh no.
The Lord said make a joyful noise, not just any old noise. So I can't sing. Like the
Should have
lady
kept my
said
mouth
yesterday,
shut.
don't own it.
Okay.
No, I do own it because if you hear me singing, you're gonna be like, stop. Talisha, you can sing.
I mean, I used to. I used
All
to.
right, all right. I won't put you on the spot, but that's
I
a good
appreciate
fun
you.
fact.
But yeah, closing thought. Um, I would say recognize that you don't have to go through it alone. And no matter what your experience, no matter what it may feel like, it is human nature to seek out other human beings.
Good.
Just reach out.
That's good. But there you have it, everybody. We've had a wonderful episode today. And tomorrow, I'm going to let me see. I do have another great guest that's coming on. She's talking about smoothies, if I'm not mistaken. So she went from a whole different type of world and went into the whole smoothie. Yeah, let me pull this up for a second, right quick. Thank you, Cassandra, for making this happen for me to have a flyer here to share. And thank you, Shannon, for always doing wonderful flyers. And thank you for the whole Kim Jacobs Show team. You all get to see the thumbnails. Shambria is doing that, and she does a great job over there on the YouTube thumbnails. I'm trying to pull the picture up while I'm saying this. Mackenzie's always working backstage with me. You see different wordings and questions and invitations from Rachel that will be shared with you all. Cassandra, she always gives you your links and different things. And then she's also been helping with some flyers. So I'm trying to think, did I say everybody? Cassandra, thank you. Oh, Pastor Selwyn Davis, even though I know he's not formally on the team, he did these templates for us.
Wow.
And I'm like, way to go, Pastor Selwyn. You're going to be a team member for life. Okay. Then I said Shambria, who does the thumbnails, and she does all of those highlight reels, y'all. When you at the end, when somebody says, "Hey, I was on the Kim Jacobs Show. If you missed it and checked me out and all of that," that's Shambria that does that. And Rachel is always asking, "Hey, do you want 30 minutes or do you want an hour? Do you want to da da da?" So you'll be able to put some names with some faces in the future. And she's always putting together that beautiful wording and making sure that things are right to invite you all to tune in. Mackenzie is always working backstage, or she's doing some stuff on TikTok. She's a TikTok sensation over there. So on her own right, because she went viral. But anyway, she's helping me
Nice.
too. So did I say everybody? Rachel, Chambria, Shannon, who does all of these beautiful flyers and things that you get a chance to see. I said 3, okay. And then Mackenzie and Cassandra. And then that's so. Okay. All right, everybody. So here's tomorrow's guest. K&B Smooth Nutrition. Let's blend and drink to a healthier you. Look at her. She like, yes, I am Sandra King, entrepreneur and author. And she's going to be our guest right here on the Kim Jacobs Show tomorrow at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Everybody, y'all have a great day. I'm so glad you and your husband connected and provided these beautiful offsprings to the world, and that their mental health is stable. Woo-hoo.
Thank you.
Have a great one, you guys. Bye-bye. Don't forget those stars, whatever those Facebook stars are, the Kim Jacobs Show Facebook stars, and subscribe and all that good stuff. All right. Bye-bye, y'all. Hello, everyone. I'm Kim Jacobs, host of the Kim Jacobs Show, where we're bringing balance to the world, one household at a time. Listen, we go live every weekday, Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I bring guests on that talk about their backstories, things that they've had to overcome to become who they are today. Many of them are balancing and juggling life, and they've become experts in different fields. So they're sharing tips with you to make your life just a little bit easier. Many times as a guest in the studio audience, you'll get a chance to walk away with a missing piece of the puzzle that might be missing in your life. Let's go on this journey together, and I look forward to seeing you Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on the Kim Jacobs Show.